Hi. You are watching knitting vlog number 72. Today is August 7th, 1922, 2022. Today's episode is, I guess I feel feeling silly. Okay. I'm going to go over some finished objects, 2 whips. I'm going to talk a little bit about a movie, books, upcoming knitting, and whatever else I decide to throw in there. I'm operating from some show notes today, so if you see me looking down, I don't know why do people apologize for that? I'm sorry for looking down on my podcast. So stupid. Here they are, my notes. Have to refer to them, have to look down to get to them. Otherwise, I would be doing this. So, cut that out. Drinking coffee. I probably shouldn't drink anymore. Oh well. Okay, so I'm gonna go over my finished objects first. I'm gonna do like all the knitting and stuff, and then I'll do books at the end, and then after that I'll do like a life update just to tell you what I've been doing. Since again, it's been almost 2 months, a little under 2 months since my last podcast. I guess that's, I don't know why. And maybe you can tell me, would you want to watch a podcast if I'm only talking about progress and I'm not talking about anything finished? Would you still watch me talk about that? I don't know. And that's what's holding me up. I just feel like over 2 months, I feel like I finally have enough to talk about in a podcast that could be 25 minutes long, you know? So you tell me, would you watch it if, sorry, it is hotter than Hades in here, and I turned off this fan, and I probably shouldn't have, because it's, I didn't even really go over where I live. So I live in upstate New York with my husband. We have 2 cats. I work as a jewelry designer full-time, and I dabble in all kinds of crafts, including sewing, knitting, paper crafting, pen paling. I collect fountain pens. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. So my first finished object is, and I didn't bring any sock blockers, I am so sorry, but these are some Shorty Socks that I talked about in my last episode about starting. These knit up fairly quickly. I used the clover base of 6 and 7 fiber. This is the skating colorway, which I think is a reference to Little Women. And, oh man, they are rustic. I love that clover base though. It makes wonderful socks. Like, they have a little bit of a fuzz to them. They are hard wearing. They are wonderful. So, I didn't use a pattern. My Shorty Socks consist of casting on that super stretchy cast on, what is it called? I'll put it on the screen. 64 stitches. I knit 12 rows. I do a slip stitch heel and gusset. I knit about 60 rows for the foot. My toe is a barn toe, which is a rounded toe. Decrease, 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 and then I have 8 stitches at the end, and I pull my yarn through and pull it out, and then tuck it back inside and weave it in. So there's no grafting. That's why I like this toe so much. Guess I never mentioned that. So here is my socks, another pair of Shorties off the needles, and I love them. They fit wonderful. The next thing that I finished is the Annie Hall handbag. Look at this little cutie. I don't know. I I just felt like casting on something small, useful, although I don't know that I will use this, so this might become a gift. It's listed in my online shop. Nobody wants it, but I'll probably gift it to somebody, maybe for Christmas. This is the Annie Hall handbag by Raquel Francia. I don't know how to say her last name. It's knit with 2 strands held together, and I used a yarn from AUDINE Wools, which is the knit crate yarn. I was a knit crate ambassador for a little while, so I have a lot of knit crate yarn stocked up. This particular one is AUDINE Wools, and it's called Interlock. So as you can imagine, it's kind of a chainette plied yarn. I held 2 strands together to get this worsted weight, but I think by itself it's a sport weight. I knit the larger size. There's actually a smaller one, which this is already really small. The colorway that I used, I didn't write down. It was called Pigment. Yeah, that's what it was called. I used 1 skein. I had 1 skein. I used the entire skein. The yardage, when I did the math, if I'm holding 2 yarns together, I figured that the yardage would be plenty for this size. However, I ran out. I did the whole bag, this handle part included. You can see where I added this second yarn. I did most of the bag in that 1 skein. Then I had to do the handle in another yarn. And I didn't have anything else this orange color. So I used Harrisville Designs Shetland wool, which is, I believe, a fingering weight, in the zinnia colorway. And I have this stuffed with bubble just to give it some body, but yeah. This pattern was really super fun. It's knit in the round, bottom up. I recommend it if you're looking for a little, this would be such a cute little gift bag for a present. Wouldn't that be adorable? And the wool that they used in this, in the Ravelry cover shot was, I think they used like a Barocco. It was definitely a cotton wool blend. This is also a cotton wool silk blend, I believe. This one I used. So it has a little bit of a shine to it, which you can't really tell here, but sorry, I am sweating. Oh my gosh, so hot. They use like it looked like Remix, if you've ever seen that. It has like a nubby texture, but in like a goldenrod color. It was really pretty. And I would absolutely knit this again in more of a woolly wool, because this is too floppy. It doesn't stand up on its own. So anyway, finished object number 2. So then now I'm obsessed with bags, apparently, and I felt like I needed to knit another bag. So I'm on Ravelry, searching, and I came up with the Bento Purse by Darling J'adore. And it's kind of a purse. Well, it's called the Bento Purse for a reason. So yes, it looks like a halter top. It is not. My husband said, "Oh, nice bra bag." I'm like, come on. So this was so fun to make, like so fun. I used a craft store cotton in an olive color, 100% cotton. It's knit in unit squares from the center out. I heard a car door. I'm just making sure my husband's not home. No. Um, you knit squares, and then you do some magical seaming origami like style to create this bag. And I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Will I use this bag? Probably not. It might be a gift for someone. Who knows? It's a good size, actually. It's got quite a bit of room in there for whatever you got going on. Now I can't get the bra or halter top out of my head. Thanks for that, Joe. What else? I used 1.5 skeins of cotton yarn. The reviewers thought that it was small, like overall when they got done with it, it was smaller than they thought. So actually I made my squares a little bit bigger, and I went up to 160 stitches around each square. And that resulted in this nice size. Do I have anything else to say? I really enjoyed the seaming. The seaming turned out great. Whip stitched them together. And I love that it's showing the stitching on the outside of the bag, because it just adds to the whole look of it. I love this. I would recommend this pattern 100%. Go knit it. So that's finished object number 2. Number 3. Socks. Annie Hall. Bento. Okay. I'm just gonna segue into the sewing. There's a cat. And talk about this bag, because this is the one that I really enjoyed making and I loved how it turned out. And as I'm talking about bags, I want to talk about this bag. This is a pattern that I have made before when I worked at the quilt shop by Noodlehead, aka Anagram. And the bag is called I'll put it on the screen, I forgot. And for this front pocket, you can see it's got like 3, it's one big pocket, but then you sew down the sides here and make this cool little pleat. This is an old vintage quilt top that my mother had given me, and I don't even know where she got it. And I cut it up and decided to use it on the front of this bag, only because it needs some repair. So I picked a section that didn't have a lot of holes in it. This one had a little tiny hole that I ended up having to sew and mend a little bit, but this has some really good structure to it because I interfaced it with a like a, what is that called? Fleece interfacing. It's got a little slip pocket. Wish I could remember the name of it. But anyway, it's in my shop if you're interested in checking it out or looking at photos of it, or, you know, whatever. I just love it. I called it cottagecore because something about this reminds me of the cottagecore trend that's going on right now. Okay, moving on. Back to knitting. I watched the Mean Girls Knit podcast. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Rebecca. They just posted it a couple days ago. It was a long episode. I watched the whole thing in a couple of different segments, but I watched the whole thing because they were talking about all the Stephen West knits that they've ever made. And it was amazing. Like, you gotta go watch it. Anyway, I was extremely inspired, obviously, to cast on some West knits thing. So I dug out all my books. I have like the shawl books. I have painting shawls. I have West Knits, Best Knits 1 and 3. And I scoured his Ravelry page to look for a pattern. Of course, I didn't find anything that I wanted to knit in any of the books that I have, patterns, of course. So I ended up finding a pattern called SAMEN. It's not like the fish. It's spelled S-A-M-E-N. And I'll pop a picture of it right here. So it's a kind of an asymmetrical triangle with garter sections and thrown in short row stockinette sections. And the pattern talked about two versions, a 6-color version and a 5-color version. And of course, the 5-color version is what I had yarn for. The 6-color version repeats a color, which that makes color E, you need like over 500 yards. So I didn't have that. I have single skeins from Stash. So I picked out 5 and I cast this on yesterday and knit my brains out for the whole day. Anyway, I have all the yarn labels here, so I will show those to you. First, let me show you the yarn. So these are the colors that I picked out. First one is Chasing Rabbits Fiber Co., which is now called the Barker Yarn Company, I believe. It's Fern, and the color is Tiger Lily. And this blend of yarn is 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon. Okay. Periwinkle Sheep. The colorway is Set in Stone. This is 100% superwash merino. Dyed in Albany, New York. This and this is Sonder Yarns, and these were parts of sock sets that I bought recently. The number of this one was 007, so it doesn't really have a color name, but it's hot pink. This one is black, and they each came with 2 minis. So I don't really have like a name of it, but I can show you the label. The black one is the Yak Merino Nylon. And the other one is Sonder Socks at 80/20. And then also Mad Tosh Merino Light. Glazed Pecan is the color. And this is a single ply, 100% superwash merino wool. Okay, those are my colors. Now, I did think about adding in a 6th color, and I still may do that depending on how this plays out. Because although I tried to plan it out in my head, I don't know if it's gonna work out. I'm keeping this in this adorable bag that I got from NicoNeco.com. Look how cute. So here is how much I've knit so far. This was yesterday. And today I'm paying for it because my left hand hurts right here. And I don't know why, because I'm really only like, mostly I'm throwing with my right hand, so I don't know why my left hand would hurt, but here it is. So this is a marled shawl, if I didn't mention that. So there you can see that short row wedge. I'm 2 rows away from doing the next short row wedge, which will be that teal color that you see here mixed with the orange and the black. And then the next wedge of garter will be black and the pink. And then I don't know how I'm gonna finish. So this is where we're at right now. So as you can see, it's gonna be very colorful. I'm holding 2 yarns together, 2 fingering weight yarns. So I probably should have gone up a needle size. I know. But I just was so excited to start. I just started, and then all of a sudden I had this whole first section done, and there was no going back at that point. So it's just gonna be very warm. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So that is the SAMEN. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it, but that's what that is. And I love the stockinette. It also has some eyelet holes in there. See them? Cool. So cool. And it is checking all the boxes. And it's one that not a lot of people have knit. So I feel like that's really cool. You know, people tend to knit all the same ones. And so I thought I would try something different. And that's not my only whip. Hold tight. I'm also working on a test net for my friend Elise. She has designed a sock called Part of the Uniform. I want to say it's Part of the Uniform. And I don't even know if, yeah, Part of the Uniform. My 2 Tips Designs, Elise Garnier. I don't know how to say her last name. I can just guess. So I am working on that as we speak. This is the first sock. You see that plaid texture? It's been so fun. Look for this. I wish I could tell you a date of when this is coming out. Believe maybe the end of August, maybe early September. It's knit with a sport weight yarn, and this particular sport weight yarn is AUDINE wools, also knit crate. And I had 2 skeins of it, so that's why I am using this. And at first I didn't really like that the plaid wasn't really showing up, but it is on the camera. But to my eyes, the plaid was kind of blending into all the speckles. But anyway, that's that. So I'll tell you more about that when I finish it. And hopefully by then, the pattern will be out and you can purchase it. So let's see, what else did I have to talk about? Remember the last episode I was talking to you about reading Where the Crawdads Sing? Well, I went and saw the movie, and I give the movie 4.5 stars. I really did enjoy the movie a lot. Having just read the book, it was fresh in my mind, so I knew a couple of points that they left out of the movie, but I think that with that book being so long, why did it seem so long to me? I don't know. Maybe they had to like condense it a little bit. But the only thing I didn't love is the actress that they cast in the lead for Kaya's character. But overall, it was great. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It was really good in the theater. I liked it a lot. I did not start The Starless Sea, which I talked about possibly doing next. Instead, I'm currently reading Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. N-G. How do you pronounce that? Ng. 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 I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. It's been out a while. I'm going to watch the show when I finish the book. I'm about halfway through the book. It's all right. I don't know. It's kind of slow. The beginning of the book was slow. It's starting to get into the plot now. Yeah, you can look that up and read about what it's about. I know. The show looks really more interesting than I thought, so that's why I decided to pick that up. And it's funny that I said that about the actress from Where Did the Crawdads Sing, because the next book I want to read is Normal People by Sally Rooney, so that I can watch the show. There's a series of that. I don't remember the network that's on, but same actress is in that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll like her in that. And then there was a book that I also bought when I was at the bookstore to get Normal People called My Best Friend's Exorcism. And I had to buy it because the cover of the book, which I'll show a picture of it here, looks like a VHS tape from the 80s, totally. And I'm a child of the 80s, and I adore anything 80s. So I did see someone read this on BookTube and reviewed it as being very good, so I thought I would give that one a shot too. So that's not coming up until after Normal People. Unless I want to read it next. I don't know, we'll see. You know me, I change my mind a lot. So, what's been going on here? So last week was so exciting because I won a major award. And that's a nod, if you don't know, to The Christmas Story, when the father wins the lamp, and he called it a major award. I won a giveaway on YouTube. I never win. I never win, ever. I was floored because when I was commenting, I realized I was the first comment on their post. But Endless Pens, which is a pen company, they have warehouses all along the coast of the east coast of the U.S. I don't know where they're actually based. I think maybe Florida. The pen came from Florida. But I won a pen, a fountain pen. Not just any fountain pen. I won a Pelikan M605 with a gold medium rhodium plated nib. And I will talk more about this when I do another pen video. This pen retails for over $500. I mean, it's crazy. I just cannot believe I won this. It's amazing. And it writes buttery smooth. And I didn't know if I was gonna like the medium nib. I told them that I would prefer a broad nib, but they sent a medium. So that's fine. Actually not sad about it at all. It writes really great. It is a beautiful pen. Beautiful. Worth $500? No, I wouldn't think so. But it's 14 karat gold nib. So that's where you're paying premium pricing. Yeah, you can't get the... But, so that was last week. Woohoo! We're having some work done around the house. We just finished a big project. In the back of the house is the family room, which is an addition that was built onto my 1920s bungalow. Back in the 70s, I think it was built. The ceiling in that room was a drop ceiling. And when we bought the house, it needed a new roof. And sure enough, like the first spring we lived here, the roof over that room had some issues, and we got some water damage. And so there were sagging bits of that drop ceiling all throughout the room. And we had been talking about getting it replaced and putting in sheetrock for a long time. And we finally bit the bullet and hired a guy to come rip it out. He put in all new insulation. He put in all new sheetrock. He put in recessed lights, which we didn't have any lighting in there other than on the ceiling fan. We replaced the ceiling fan with a new ceiling fan, and it just turned out beautiful. It's wonderful. And I'll show you some pictures so you can see it. That was I think 2.5 to 3 week project. The thing that they're doing now is the front porch needs some help. So we are having, we had the wooden stairs demolished. We're going to put in a preformed concrete stair system in there with new railings, iron railings. And some of the concrete on the porch needs to be fixed. Some of the pointing on the brick needs to be fixed. So that will be worked on. And they're pouring us a new sidewalk to the main sidewalk. So guys, please don't be don't be naughty. Don't. It never fails. It never fails. So, new sidewalk, new stairs, brickwork. Anyway, that project is taking way longer than it needs to. So, more on that hopefully next time. I'm assuming the next 2 weeks is going to be some progress on that. I really hope to be back before too long, before 2 months. Some questions for you, because I like to open up conversation on my podcasts. Is it a podcast? Is it a vlog? I don't know. Have you knit any bags? If you have, tell me what they are down in the comments. Do you like knitting bags? Tell me that in the comments. Because I don't think my bag knitting adventure is over. I like bags anyway, so it's not a surprise that I would be into knitting bags, but there is one that I want to knit. I'll throw in a picture. It's a drawstring striped bag. Very cute. And I think it's knit with like a worsted weight. I'm trying to use up my stash. So these bags are coming in handy because it's using up some stash. Although the cotton yarn I didn't have, so I went to the craft store and bought that. But I don't typically have a lot of cotton. I did buy an extra 2 skeins of like a natural color cotton to do another bag. So there is another bag in my future. I just have to find it. So if you knit a bag that you loved, tell me what it is down below. Some future knitting that I am looking forward to is Athena from Seedling Stitch podcast. If you have not watched her podcast, what are you doing? Go watch her last episode where she showed off the fox that she made for her friend's wedding. It is flippin' adorable. And because I had so much fun sewing up that bento purse, I thought maybe I'll knit a toy. So I'm planning on knitting a toy for a gift for a special baby in my life. And if you're that baby's mama and you're watching this, don't tell him. I don't have a lot of babies in my life, so I'm sure it'll be easy to figure out. But anyway, I'm going to knit a toy for his first birthday, which is this winter. So I've got some time. So the pieces of it are knit flat and seamed. So that's my plan. And I purchased the Knitted Animal Friends book. I can't recall. Here's a picture of it. That Athena used for her projects. You gotta go back and watch the one where she shows off the sloth. She used the pattern in the book for the owl, but she made it into a sloth. It's so stinking cute. I can't even. You have to watch her podcast. She is amazing. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry it's been so long in between my episodes. I'm sorry. It's always a pleasure to chit chat with you. If you liked what you saw here, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Leave me a comment. Please leave me a comment. Even if it's just, hey, what's up? You know, that's gonna help my video get shown to more people. If you want to share my video, even better. And hopefully I will see you guys very soon. Bye for now.